What's up, money growers? Jacob back here with another video, coming to you guys to talk about something that I know a lot of people have questions about when it comes to banks and credit unions. Who's better than who? Well, I'm doing this video today. I'm going to be playing devil's advocate in two videos. So one of is going to be why banks are better than credit unions. The other one's going to be why credit unions are better than banks. Now, understand as we jump into this, hit the like button. But as we jump into this, that a lot of this stuff, you can read online. You can get some general ideas about some of these subjects, but certain things are not uniform. These are more tendencies, patterns you see. So oftentimes, some of the things that may be better at a credit union could be better at a bank, vice versa. So some of this just comes from experience I'll talk about, right? Research done online and some of my personal experiences. So grabbing information from several different places to at least help give you guys a better idea of banks and credit unions, differences between the two. So let's hop in. So looking at banks, all right. So a bank is a financial institution that's licensed to receive deposits and make loans, okay? Now, depending on the type, right, a bank may also provide various financial services ranging from safe deposit boxes, currency exchange, retirement, wealth management. It just depends, okay? Most people they're obviously more familiar with banks than they are with credit unions. Now, when it comes to bank, here's one of the things that can actually make it better is the fact that anybody can join, okay? So banks are open to any consumer interested in a product or account provided the consumer doesn't have a bad banking history. Now, that's different than credit unions because credit union membership is often focused on specific groups, right? So, credit unions may only focus on people who live within a certain county, a certain state, or a couple of states. They could be based on military members like Navy Federal or USAA. It could be an employer that you work for, people that are within a certain occupation. It could be within certain unions, right? It could be churches where you worship, where you go to school or your kids go to school in a certain area. So oftentimes with credit unions, that's how their membership is more limited. So, even if you want to get into certain credit unions, like say it is Navy Federal, you have to, have some kind of connection with the military if you're a civilian, whether that's someone served, like your sibling or a grandparent or a parent, something like that. Like you can get in that way, but oftentimes people can't. So again, if you don't live in a certain area, then you may not be able to get into a certain credit union and ever become a member and take advantage. Where a bank, it's not like that. Now, anyone who is eligible to open an account with the bank, including individuals or companies, so you can just do it on your own, or you can have a business set up with a bank, sole proprietor, LLC, whatever the case is. Now, anyone can open an account with a bank so long as they meet minimum deposit requirements. Some banks even offer specialized accounts specifically geared towards customers that would not normally qualify for accounts. Heck, sometimes you can get a sign-up bonus for signing up for certain accounts and depositing a certain amount of money and that kind of thing. So with banks, one of the things that they have an advantage of over credit unions oftentimes is the fact that they have more branches and ATMs available in convenient locations. So, banks do often give you better access to use of, free ATMs that are their own branded ATMs within their network. So, if you're with Wells Fargo, Chase, Bank of America, they've got ATMs all over the place, especially for any decent sized metro area. Now, credit unions, they really don't have that. But they do have like a network where you can go oftentimes like 7-Eleven or Target stores or that kind of thing and do that. But banks have their own branded ATMs, usually all over the place. So what that means is that for customers, it'll almost always be able to locate an actual bank location and generally don't have to worry as much about outside fees from ATMs, right? And having to get paid, pay $1, $2, whatever it is, or more to use an ATM that's not in their network because they usually have access to so many. Another advantage that banks have over credit unions is that, well, this is continuing with the ATM part, right? So many banks are international and span the globe. That's true because many credit unions, like I said earlier, only focus locally. So again, customers have more access to accounts should they relocate. So more products offered. This is common from banks because banks are often usually much bigger than credit unions. Even Navy Federal Credit Union, the biggest one there is, they get dwarfed in terms of the amount of assets that they manage by other big banks. So big banks, they can offer both personal and commercial banking products. A small credit union is only going to be able to offer so much. Bigger credit unions can offer business products as well. But business credit cards, loans, investment savings vehicles, right? An IRA, CDs, right? I mean, credit unions can offer this stuff as well, but again, it's just going to depend. And just because banks are so much bigger, they can also do specialized products. They just have other options just because they're so much bigger than many other credit unions. Now, financial technology, right? This is with online apps, things like this. Again, because banks are bigger and they have way more money than many credit unions, they can invest in areas like online banking apps, right? They can invest in those things and give you more access than you may have with just your local credit union. They're so big that they have to put money into these processes because they have so much to manage. So they can do that more so than a credit union just because they have so much more money. Now, credit unions do oftentimes have apps and things like that. But again, the bigger one like Navy Federal, yeah, they'll be fine. But your little local mom and pop credit union, they don't have like those kinds of resources to be, with technology just like a huge bank does or even a large credit union. So again, results may vary, but this is one where banks, because they have so much more money, they usually have that advantage. Another area with the apps, right? They can be quicker to roll out new apps and other tech again because they're so big and so uniform. They're usually a bit more uniform. They can put more money into an app and get it developed quicker than a credit union typically can. Customer support 24/7. Again, banks are bigger. They can afford to hire more staff, even if they do outsource the customer support overseas. They can afford to be paying more people to be on the phone or to be working if people should ever need help with any issue they're having with their bank. So credit unions, sometimes they have certain things like Navy Federal, a couple of their departments are 24/7, like the credit cards and fraud. But, other areas, they're just not. Other credit unions, if you call outside their operating hours, you're not going to get a hold of them. Like Monday through Friday, outside of operating hours, you just have to wait. You're just going to have to wait to get a hold of someone if you need something or you got questions or whatever it is. So again, banks being so much bigger, that's one of the advantages that they offer. Now, consistent customer service policies. So this is something, again, because the size of banks and they can be more bureaucratic, they also in a lot of ways are more uniform. Because the organization is so big, they have a policy, and that policy is pretty much the same no matter which bank you go to, because that's just how the big corporation runs to try to make it an easier operation because they have so many branches to operate. Now, with that being said, there are still chances where and opportunities where, if you do good relationship banking with your local bank, you get to know your banker or you build a good relationship with a lender or the manager or whatever it is. Yeah, there's times they can make adjustments for you or their customers. They can sometimes the manager can, maybe be able to help you out a little bit more. So, there are some flexibility with banks. It's not like there's no flexibility at all with banks, but just because they're generally so much bigger, they're going to have more red tape with some of the things they do, more policies, just because they are so much bigger versus a credit union, which is smaller. They've got a bit more flexibility. And with that being said, please subscribe to the channel. The channel's been growing like crazy, doing a couple videos a day. I'm happy to share this with you guys, talking banks, credit unions, the advantages to one over the other. So, you can use both. I use both. So I've had accounts with banks and credit unions throughout my life. So hopefully this was at least able to give you some foundational info to decide if you want to use one, the other, or even both. So thanks for watching. Thanks for being so awesome. And I will see you again soon.